Another thing that's on my calendar every Friday, 3 o'clock, date afternoon. Not necessarily date night, not date morning, date afternoon. Why 3 o'clock on Fridays? I'm done seeing patients at noon. I've got from noon to 3 to tie up the week. Gives Tamika time to tie up her week. And then the kids are in daycare. Like the kids go to school and then they go to after school stuff till 6. So we've got a babysitter every single Friday until 6 p.m., 6:30 if we're staying a little late. So let's make use of that time. Put your date nights on your calendar. Oh, it's not spontaneous. It's not romantic. Who cares? Make that time spontaneous romantic. The only thing that's not spontaneous is the time that you're actually doing it. Put those things on your calendar and then study your white spaces. What the hell's going on out here? Hey, what's going on, everybody? Dr. Taylor again with you with another episode of Fueled by Spite. This today are my spiteful app hacks. None of them are hacks. They're just lost everybody. None of them are hacks. They're the things that I use, the apps and programs that I use to just to get shit done. Because like what is the goal of this whole thing? Actually, a little backstory. At one point, I don't remember what it was. Tamika and I were doing something as we do from time to time, and whatever it was that she did or whatever, it elicited a response from, or elicited a phrase from me. I was like, "Hey, what is our goal?" And she just looks at me and goes, "Affluence." I was like, "Hell yeah! All right." So these are my affluent app hacks, my the things that I use as I trudge forward to achieve higher echelons of life in a trajectory greater or better than where I am right now. So the number one thing, this thing has, well, these all have to some degree or another, but this thing has absolutely changed my life, especially since I have kids. If you're not to listen to this first thing and you could turn all the rest off, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could if you wanted to, because this one thing alone has, just the ease at which it has entered into my life and just made everything just so efficient and fluid. Kroger grocery delivery, bar none, the greatest thing I've discovered, and it's only been within the past couple of months. Get your groceries delivered. So I do meal prep on Sundays and on Saturday, depending on what the schedule's like on Saturday, we'll put in a grocery order, and it will either A, be delivered Saturday evening if we're going to be home, or B, it'll be delivered bright and early Sunday morning. And shoot, it is an absolute godsend. Getting your groceries delivered to your, there's going to be fuck ups. You give me the wrong lettuce. I wanted the spring mix. You gave me 50-50, but whatever. Like, it's the stuff that doesn't make it, or it makes it improperly, is so inconsequential to the amount of time that you save. Your grocery delivery, and apparently I've been informed that Sam's does it now too, but grocery delivery has been one of the greatest things that I've ever had the privilege of experiencing. So we'll put the order in Saturday, and like I said, it'll be delivered Saturday night if we're around, or early Sunday morning. And if they got, hey, there's something that's not available, they'll shoot you a text. Do you want this replacement? Yes, no, or whatever. But like I said, if you have kids and you've had to take your kids to the grocery store, I mean, it's fun, and they get to learn about money and proper produce selection, and you got to distract them so you can avoid the toy aisle. But man, grocery delivery, man, what a time to be alive! It has drastically changed my outlook on humanity as a whole. Number two, and this is a big one, the Google Calendar, or in any calendar app that you have. And like, oh, I already use a calendar app. But what you need to do is focus on the white spaces. Put every single thing that you have to do in there. I'm a visual person, so mine are color coded. It's a necessity. If you have any desire to increase your current station in life, you need to have a calendar. I use Google Calendar, and I've got everything in there. At the very top are birthdays. When you miss a birthday, put one in there. set yourself a reminder for 1 week prior, bare minimum. Birthdays, and I've got all of my podcasts that I listen to in there. I listen to a specific podcast on a specific day. There's really no rhyme or reason, but the podcast I listen to, John D. Martini, I listen to the Black Diamond Club podcast. That's dropped on Mondays. I also listen to their Sean and Lacey Live on Wednesday nights. I listen to Tamika's Say More Words. I listen to David Meltzer's The Playbook. And on Saturdays, I listen to the Masterclass. It's the reason you have a calendar is to make your brain do less work, right? It's already in the thing. All you got to do is look at it. What am I doing today? Okay, cool. Oh, here's the podcast that I'm listening to that day. I've got my workouts in there. I do the same thing every week, but it's still in the calendar. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I lift weights. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do CrossFit. On Saturdays, I swing kettlebells. It's still in there across the board, same time every day. What else I got there? Got my grocery shopping. I got my meal prep in there. Meal prep on Sundays, starting around 9 or 10. I got a big old block on Sunday mornings where I do my meal prep. Every weekday across the board at 7:15, I've got 15 minutes of reading. It's a tiny little yellow sliver on my Google Calendar, but it's in there. I got 7 to 7:15. I do my reading on my phone. I don't have it on me, but both on my phone and on my calendar at 12:30 Monday through Friday. I've got a reminder that goes off for gratitude, and I sit in gratitude or meditation or thankfulness or whatever at 7:15. Oh, also, this is more in my head, but after I get done reading, I write down on my morning pages. We'll go over that in a little bit. I do my journaling. Uh, on Mondays and Tuesdays, I've got time blocked off to record a podcast. So what I do, because if you're watching this, if you're following along, there's a solo and interview, a solo and interview. So I schedule my interviews on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then what I do, if someone takes a slot, I delete the other day. I just gained an hour, right? So if someone schedules at 12:30 on Monday, cool. I then block off Tuesday or vice versa. And I've got that going down the road. I've got 2 or 3 weeks of podcasts scheduled out, which means I've got 2 or 3 weeks of Mondays and Tuesdays figured out, ready to go. I've got my coaching calls in there. Every other Monday, I've got a coaching call with Lacey. Every Wednesday, I've got a spiritual coaching call with Pastor Brian Hall. Every Thursday, I've got my mindset coaching with Adam and Unforget Yourself. These are in the calendar. They're blocked off. These are as close to non-negotiables as you can get, because obviously I can reschedule these things if need be, but they're all in the calendar. I've got my staff meeting. We do a team meeting every Wednesday at 8:30. Yep, every Wednesday at 8:30. Then I've got my marketing meeting every Monday at 12 o'clock, right after the last patient. I've got my, I don't even know, we call it the IPO meeting, but whatever. We've got our managers meeting every Thursday at noon. Again, these are just 15-minute little things, and they're, especially for like a 15-minute task, it almost seems kind of inconsequential to put on the calendar, but it's something that you got to do. You need to put these things on your calendar so you could tell where your white spaces are. Okay. What are white spaces? White spaces are the things that you can fill, the times that you can move stuff into. Another thing that's on my calendar every Friday, 3 o'clock, date afternoon. Not necessarily date night, not date morning, date afternoon. Why 3 o'clock on Fridays? I'm done seeing patients at noon. I've got from noon to 3 to tie up the week. It gives Tamika time to tie up her week. And then the kids are in daycare. Like the kids go to school and then they go to after school stuff till 6. So we've got a babysitter every single Friday until 6 p.m., 6:30 if we're staying a little late. So let's make use of that time. Put your date nights on your calendar. Oh, it's not spontaneous. It's not romantic. Who cares? Make that time spontaneous romantic. The only thing that's not spontaneous is the time that you're actually doing it. Put those things on your calendar and then study your white spaces. Next thing, Chat GPT. This, from a service provider, from a business owner and an entrepreneur, from someone who wears many hats, has been lovely, because from a doctoral standpoint, if you will, as a chiropractor, my life is very black and white. I mean, yes, we need to figure things out. We need to use some critical thinking, but it's very, I don't know which side is which, left or right, but let's say it's very right brain, because I feel like the right side is the analytical side. So I have a very right brained job primarily, but then I need to use the left side, the creative side, for all the other stuff that doesn't involve pushing on backs. Okay, so I've got I've got to be a marketer. I've got correspondence. In Texas, chiropractors cannot write prescriptions for handicap placards, which is retarded because it doesn't make any sense. Like, I am a movement specialist. Um, if anything, like, it should just be PTs and chiropractors. If you want a handicap placard, you need to go to a PT or chiropractor. But no, we can't do that. But we can certainly write recommendations that people can give to their primary care. So I was like, man, I didn't save the last ones that I wrote. Hey, Chat GPT, how do I write, or put me a recommendation for handicap placard? Spits it right out. Um, One of the things we've been doing in the office is, just from a business standpoint, this is sounds it used to sound to me kind of cruel and insensitive, but man, I'm really buying into it. And for all intents and purposes, I think this applies to every single business. We work with people, and sometimes we don't like the people we work with. So we have been making a concerted effort to work with more people that we like. I said this on a previous episode. If you're a patient here, thanks. We like you. If you're not, or if you were and you're not, I'm okay with that. Because what we did, we put together a survey. We had ChatGPT help us come up with a survey. Hey, what questions should we ask to our ideal patients to learn more about them? And then we put all those into a spreadsheet and we put them into ChatGPT. We're like, hey, can you analyze this so we can figure out what our ideal client is? So that way we can target more of them. And it's not necessarily, again, like, the insensitivity comes like, you're a healthcare provider. You should help everybody. I absolutely will. But I'll tell you right now, I will get better results with somebody that I like. Period. The end. And again, like, oh, that's so insensitive. No, it's really not, because the same can be said for you as a patient or as a patron to any business. You will receive better service if you like the person providing the service. And there are people that come in here that won't like me, and I'm totally cool with that. But what I want to do is I want to give those people less opportunity to come in here. Like, I don't want them to waste their time. They come in here, I have the skill and the ability and the expertise to help them. But man, what if they just think I suck, just like as a person? I could be the greatest chiropractor in the world, and if I'm not, I'm damn close. But if you don't like me, you're not going to get better. So we use ChatGPT to nail down our ideal patient. I use ChatGPT to write letters. I use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is taking over for Google for me for a quick answer. If you are unfamiliar with it, or it scares you, or you don't necessarily know how to use it, two things. Number one, when you formulate your prompt, it's a 3-step process. Act as if. So you type in, I want you to act as a social media expert. Number two, tell it what you want it to do. As such, I want you to develop, see, that's not a hat I wear. I wear the content maker hat, clearly. I want you to develop an outline for a podcast. I want you to develop a string of Instagram posts that will entertain and increase engagement. Why do we do that? So that way this stuff pops up on your feed more often. And then before you give me the results, ask me any questions that you need to for clarification. And then it's literally, it's like old school chat rooms, except ChatGPT doesn't ask me ASL, but then I'll ask you these questions for clarification, and then it'll spit out whatever it is you asked it to spit out. And I don't know if this is necessary or not, but if Skynet ever takes over, I always say please and thank you to ChatGPT, so that way, if and when it comes to fruition that we're going to be taken over by AI, at least they know I was polite. So maybe I'll be a house slave as opposed to one that they put out in the fields, if that is still too complicated for you. So Act as if, here's what I want you to do. Ask me any clarifying questions. That's your 3-step process. I got a guy. Shoot me a DM. His name is Ted Vicky. The dude has been enlightening on how to use ChatGPT. He's created a wonderful. This is a promotion. It's not paid or anything like that. But he's created an introductory course on all of the things that ChatGPT can do and the best way to use it. It's fantastic. And the guy's an absolute wealth of knowledge. He's targeting like fitness professionals because he ran the fitness center at the White House under Bush, Clinton, and Obama. So he probably knows what he's talking about. Number 3, ClickUp. This is what we use here in the office. It's a task management app and software, and it is robust. I'll tell you right now, the learning curve on the thing is steep. It's going to take you a bit to get into it. At first, it will be nothing more than a checklist. But as you get into it, as you use it, if you were managing people and projects, this thing is fantastic. You can assign specific tasks, you can assign due dates, you can see how much work has been put into it. It has been a lifesaver. We've gotten rid of so many post-it notes. Let's just put it that way. By using ClickUp, you can use it in the office. You can use it across the internet, if you will. We set up with our patient management stuff, our recall list if people have fallen off the schedule. I set it up with my podcast here. Hey, here's the guests I've got going on. This is a perfect time for a wonderful little plug for The List, Northeast Terrence, The List. What I do is I go out and we get donations from businesses around town. Hey, we're going to put this thing out there. You give us $100 and we'll put it out to our list. So what I do, I've got a board of all the potential businesses around here. And then I just just click and drag, just slide over. I've talked to them. They've engaged. They gave us a donation. It's been posted. Somebody won. It's just a way to keep track of all of this stuff. You've got calendar stuff on there or timelines on there, how long these things should take. It keeps everything wonderfully organized. But if you want to be on the list, we just gave out $400 worth of stuff. We do it every single week. We drop a $100 prize. We announce it on Friday. If the person on Friday doesn't pick it up, the following Monday when we announce another prize, it rolls over. So now that $100 prize is 2 $100 prizes. And then if that person doesn't pick it up on Friday, then it rolls over. And then it's 3 $100 prizes. So we use ClickUp to do that. Tax management, checking in on things. Number 4, it's not necessarily an app, but it comes with an app. It is this thing here. If you guys are watching this on the YouTubes, this is my Remarkable. This is delightful. It is so much better than an iPad. Why? Because it is not nearly as robust as an iPad. All it is electronic paper. This thing here has got pages and pages and pages of just handwritten notes. So if you're a post-it note person, if you've got that stack of post-it notes and you got to kind of flip through them and see, well, where was that one idea you had that one time? Like, I use this thing for making my outlines for Fueled by Spite. I use this thing for my outlines for my team meetings. I use this thing for jotting down notes on phone calls. I use this as my journal to start my day and end my day. I use this as another to-do list, just a brain dump. When I go to seminars, all my notes are on here. Like this little thing, it's maybe slightly over a quarter inch, maybe it's about a half inch thick, nice and light. The pen on here, it feels like you're writing on paper. It's got just that little scratch on it. It's not that glass on glass thing that an iPad is. And all it can do, it can only connect to your email or your desktop app. There's no games on here. There's no internet access on here. If I'm working on this thing, I'm not getting distracted by Facebook or Instagram. This Remarkable is this is a productivity machine. Next thing on here, Google Sheets. There's a really good chance that a lot of you out there already use it. I've gotten into it within the last year. And from a team perspective, if you need other people's input or participation in it, it's awesome. Because it used to be I'd type things up on a Word doc, I'd save it to Dropbox, and then we'd lose stuff in there, or someone would go and they'd they'd type an edit in there, or they'd make corrections, and then I'd go to pull up and it hadn't quite synced yet. I mean, the Google Sheets, the Google Docs, they sync immediately and automatically. You can both be using them at the exact same time. So if you have to produce documents and it takes more than one person to do it, or you want more than one person's input, Google Sheets has been fantastic for us here. Next one here. This isn't necessarily an app per se, but it is a tool that I've been using lately, thanks to a coach of mine. Unforget yourself. It's this thing called the reframing wheel, and literally all it is, it's an activity, it's a task. You draw a circle in the middle of the page, right, and then you make 8 spokes coming off. So you've got 8 points. And the thing that this is best used for is reframing, as said so in the title. So what do? You write the thing that you are unhappy about in the middle circle, like something that you want to change or something that you just want to see from a different perspective. So one thing I wrote down here, I wrote, I get distracted. We all do, right? So I wrote in the middle, I get distracted. That is an unwanted feeling that I have. And then just pick whatever spoke you want, but in the first blank, you're right, I don't get distracted. So you flip it. And then all you do is you work your way around the circle and you write just the next best idea that comes into your mind. So I wrote, I get distracted. First space, I don't get distracted. And then I'm working my way around, just next best thing. I actually accomplish many things every day. Next thing, I have built a strategic machine. I am routinely fine tuning my procedures. We reach more people now regularly than ever before. I am regularly coming up with new and useful content. My content has brought us more people. I have regularly caught myself when I've been slipping. So these things that you're basically writing them down in silence. And then you go back and you read them aloud, as I have just done. Because what it does is it puts it into your brain, it reframes it with different tactile stimulation. Because obviously we can sit here and we can read it silently to ourselves. But let's say, I don't know, maybe you have low comprehension. Maybe you don't necessarily take things in with just silent thought. The writing it down, the tactile thing will help you. And then saying it again out loud, that will help you. Another example here. Inability. I have an inability to locate tasks to delegate. So I've got an issue of trying to do everything myself. If it's going to be done right, I'm the only one who can do it, which is absolute bullshit. So inability to locate tasks to delegate. I write that in the middle. And then the first thing, I have the ability to do this. I have the time to do this. Because that's one thing, man, like figuring out what to delegate. Part of the reason I wasn't doing it was that I would just have to sit down. It felt like a waste of time to take the time that would eventually save me time. So inability to locate tasks to delegate. Nope, I have the ability to locate tasks to delegate. I have the time to do this. Taking the time now will free up way more time in the future. More free time in the future will give me time to do higher priority tasks. More concentration on higher priority tasks leads to a better business. I'll be able to help more people. I'll have more fun and less stress at the office. I'll be easier to be around, thus creating better relationships. That's a wonderfully better way to look at it than I can't find things I need to delegate. I'll give you one more. And the reason being is because this took time. This activity in and of itself was a muscle I had to build. Um, so next one here, completing daily checklists. That was a thing that I felt that I was having trouble doing. So what's the next best thing to look at that? Well, if I complete these checklists, it lays out a plan. And then I get more things done. And then fewer things fall through the cracks. And then we retain higher standards. Everyone knows their role. Less questions and confusion. More confidence in the staff. Less stress on me. So I do have the ability to complete my tasks. And when I do, these are the things that will come of it. So this is the reframing. It's incredibly simple. And you don't even need a remarkable to do this. You can do this on a sheet of paper. But the key is write the thing that you want to change in the middle. Then just flip it. And it's going to sound kind of dumb at first. I don't have the ability to do this. Actually, yes, I do. I can't do this. Actually, yes, I can. And then just write the next best thing. It doesn't even necessarily have to be like intimately or directly related. just semi-related, but give the next best thought. And after that, give the next best thought that comes from that. And then the next best one that comes from that. So you're starting from this low level energy of I can't, won't, don't have the ability to do XYZ. And you're literally proving to yourself, one, yes, I do. Two, here's the good things that will come when I do. Let's see here. Next one, the alarm clock. Man, god damn it, I don't have my phone on me. Your alarm clock is one of the greatest apps you will have, bar none, aside from Kroger grocery delivery. You, it's how you start your day. Period. End of sentence. Set an alarm and set it. And for most of you out there, set it an hour earlier than what you already have it, because odds are you can get an extra hour in the morning. And the reason being, because you probably waste an hour at the end of the day. You waste it scrolling. You waste it watching Sports Center or whatever. I mean, college football starting, but whatever. You waste time at the end of the day. I need to relax. I need to unwind. That's what sleep is for. Like you're getting sleep. You're getting ready to go to sleep by not doing anything. No, that doesn't make any sense. I'm just want to veg out. Just want to give my brain a rest. That's what sleep is for. Again, the end, period. So set an alarm and set an hour earlier than what you normally would, because then you're going to gain an extra 7 hours in the week. And I don't know what 7 times 52 is, but it's probably a lot. 300 hours, 350 hours in the year. You can do a lot with 350 hours. Don't fact check me on that math. It might not be right. But then also set alarms for things you're supposed to do. We went back. We were talking about the calendar. Now, I hate notifications. I have damn near all of my notifications turned off because they're distracting. I don't get email notifications that I set. I don't get one of the banes of my existence is the desktop notification. Because if I'm on my desktop, man, hopefully I'm doing something productive, and I don't want to be stuck mid-flow and then you've got a Zoom call. No. If I check my schedule in the morning, I know what my day looks like. I don't need a desktop notification. However, you set an alarm for things that you need to be consciously, immediately, potentially abruptly pulled away from or reminded of. Sleep is a perfect example. The other alarm that I have set every single day at 12:30 is my gratitude alarm. So every day at 12:30, because I see patients till noon, the girls leave the office at 12:30, but at 12:30, a loud alarm goes off and it just says gratitude. And then that is a reminder for me to stop whatever I'm doing, hard stop, hard boundaries, and sit in gratitude, sit in meditation, sit in thought, positive thought, because it's a muscle that you need to build. It's something that you need to do repeatedly to get better and better and better at. Same with that reframing wheel. Another alarm that I've set on there, 7:15, it says Frankie read. So that way 7:15 every night, we read. She's in second grade. Kids got to learn. Lastly, I feel like I've put a lot of things tied for number one. But the two most powerful things that you can do to give yourself some stability, both on your calendar and in your mind, are two wonderful buttons on your computer. Number one is unsubscribe. Here's a little trick. If you've got a messy email box, go up in the search bar and just type in the word unsubscribe. And then it'll pull up every single email you have that has an unsubscribe. And you go through and you do what? You unsubscribe. You're like, hey, I haven't opened this in years. Cool. Unsubscribe. And also delete. Delete all those emails. So your unsubscribe button is your friend. It clears out all the junk. Number two, the unlike or unfollow. Now, old me would have been like, no, this is a wonderful way. The people that I should unlike or unfollow are people that I can use to make myself feel better about myself by attempting to make them feel stupid. The amount of times I told this to a patient the other day, when I was in chiropractic school, you don't have to write a whole lot of papers in chiropractic school, because again, it's very right brained. It's analytical. It's memorizing notes and hormone levels and all this, anatomy, right? So Tamika would come in from time to time and she'd see a Word doc pulled up and there'd be a good couple of paragraphs on there. And she'd be like, who are you arguing with on Facebook? Because if you're arguing on Facebook, if you have a grammatical error in there or a spelling in there, your argument is immediately invalid. So I would proof all of my responses. So if she saw that document up there, why are you wasting time arguing on Facebook? So unfriend, unlike, unfollow these people because they are a tremendous waste of time. I had one, like he used to be an associate of mine, not like in the employment sense, but in the career path sense. And no, it turns out he was a douche. And it's like his stuff would keep coming up. And it's like, man, it's a repackaging of the same garbage that you used to say you hated. And it's just utter douchebaggery, the apex of douchebaggery, if you will. And it would just anger me just to see, and like there's nothing beneficial coming from this. Boom, unfriend, unlike, unfollow. So those I'll put the majority of these tied for number one, but those are some of my most strategic, time saving, efficient apps and hacks that I've been able to develop to this point in my life. I suggest you go back through, you listen, I'll run through them real quick for you, just so you can get them all in one spot. So number one, this is number one. Number one, bar none, above anything else. At best, everything else is going to be tied for number two. Number one, grocery delivery. Number two, the rest of these are in no particular order. A good calendar app. I personally, again, turn off the notifications for the calendar. Number three, Chat GPT. Number four, ClickUp. Number five, this remarkable here. Number six, Google Sheets. Number seven, the reframing wheel that I talked about, the little circle and the spokes. Eight's an alarm clock. 9 and 10, unsubscribe and unfollow. I mean, it'll take away those last two. It'll take away some opportunities for voicing your spite, but we're here to use spite for good. It can be a superpower, and it can be bad in the hands of the wrong people. So once again, as always, you guys like, share, follow. I appreciate your time listening to this. I really hope you're getting stuff out of this because I'm just putting it out there. I'm telling you what I do, and so far it's worked pretty goddamn well for me. So if you could take anything from it, more power to you. As always, you will learn more here by accident than elsewhere by design. You used to be either A, an idiot, or B, uninformed. After today, you can no longer say that you're uninformed. Thanks for your time, guys. You have a great rest of your day. I think I've got a Rangers game to get to, even though they suck this year. See ya.